Hi, it's Dr. Fern here. Now, for a lot of us right now, there is a lot of struggling going on. There's a lot of worries in our head. This pandemic has created this massive, unprecedented thing that we've never experienced yet, at least not in my lifetime. And there has been a lot of catastrophizing. So I don't know whether you've done this before, but when your job has gone down or your business has gone down and you've had to stand down your staff and the patient books start to deteriorate and you start worrying about, oh my God, am I ever going to recover from this? And not only that, but now perhaps you're addicted to social media and you're constantly refreshing and seeing all the negativity that is out there. And on all the forums that you hear, there's so much negativity about all the stuff that is going wrong. And so then what happens is that your brain starts to infuse with all this information. It seeds into your subconscious, and then at nighttime you think about this over and over and you can't sleep. And so there is stress created in your body, chronic stress. And I know sometimes when things seem out of control and you have no control over what's going on, you absolutely don't. You can't control this whole thing. You can't control what the associations are putting or not putting out there right now. You can't control how long this is going to go on for, and you can't control really what happens to your staff and your patients and maybe even your books to a certain extent. But the truth is, if you keep thinking like this and you keep subscribing to catastrophizing, to worry, to anxiety while being in self-isolation with your family, you're causing yourself the worst thing of all right now. That is reducing your immunity, which is what you need the most to stay sane right now. And that is stress. If you succumb to stress, stress is making you stupid. You can't think properly, your prefrontal cortex goes offline, you can't sleep properly, and you don't go into deep states of rest, and so you get brain fog. And stress also makes you scarce and separated. Suddenly we're in self-isolation and protection, and our amygdala is going online and looking for anything inherently negative in our environment so it can protect us because it thinks we are in actual, real, imminent danger of dying right now. And so then we close off and we don't share things and we feel lonely and isolated and we're in self-protection mode and everything's urgent and there's so much pressure to do stuff, which repeats that same pattern over and over again. The other thing that might be happening right now with stress is that we get sick. And physiologically, if you are thinking chronic thoughts of worrying things, then what happens is the body doesn't know the difference between what is real or perceived. So it reacts and secretes hormones as if it's happening right now. And they're the cortisol, adrenaline. And what happens is that, well, why would your body worry about immunity or digestion when it thinks it can die now? It needs to lean into its fight, freeze mode. And that's the problem, because then you start to get sick and your immunity suffers and your digestion starts to suffer. And then it also makes us sexless. Yes, I said sexless. And what sexless means is not just about sex, it means, hey, we can't feel our bodies anymore. We can't feel the senses that we've been given. We can't feel the essential pleasure of our senses every single day so that we can actually fight against this stress. Pleasure is the direct antidote to stress. And if you can't feel yourself right now because you are worrying constantly that you are succumbing to this thing, it's not COVID-19 or it's not, your staff leaving you or you having to stand them down or your business going down. That is the real problem. It is the way that you are reacting to stress. And so if you are doing that constantly and you think that I can't control anything out there, I'm going to beg to differ. There is one thing that you can control right now, and this is if you can get on top of this one thing, everything shifts. And the late Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. You always get a choice on how to think. You sometimes don't think you do because you're listening to this critical choker voice in our heads that is inherently moving towards what is wrong in the world. And then we infuse it constantly with all the negativity surrounding us, from the people to social media, and we get zapped into the drama. You can actually choose to put a stop to that. Instead of subscribing to those thoughts right now that are going in your head, like, hey, shit, I'm going to doom and gloom. Everything's going to go down. I don't know how to recover from this business right now. And I feel like I'm so behind. I don't know what happens. And then you start to catastrophize and call this story that you're going to die, right? Or you're not going to have enough money to feed yourself and everything's gone. And the truth is, as much as that is a story in your head right now, the opposite can be true. Remember, the body doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is perceived. It reacts as if the threat is right here, right now. And so having said that, why don't you subscribe to your cheerleading voice, the other voice that you can actually have control over, and dial that up and start to go, you know what? Well, if my brain likes to close loops and close stories because it doesn't like uncertainty, then why don't I just create a future where I see myself succeeding, where I tell myself I'm going to get through no matter what, where I see myself and say, hey, in this pandemic, there are so many gifts. I get to hang out with my kids more and actually see them in a way that I'll never be able to see, even though they drive me up the wall. I get to be more present. I get to pull back and not have my team call me every single day right now. But I just get to find some white space for once. And I know that I'm going to pull through, and you can cheerlead yourself. Because for as long as you are thinking in the future, and as long as you are worrying in the future about all the things that may go wrong, but probably won't, most of us catastrophize in the future and we think, things are going to go so wrong. And we make up these stories, and I'm going to tell you, 90% of them never even happens. How many times has that happened to you? But for as long as you do that, and as long as you keep dredging the past back up and repeating the same patterns of doom and gloom from the past, you know, the I told you so's, I should have known about that team member, or whatever it is that we're pulling out to prove that we're going to have this catastrophic future and we have to be worried about it. For as long as you are in your past and in your future, you cannot be present. And the secret is, when you are in the present moment right here, like when you're watching me right now, everything you can figure out. Everything you can absolutely figure out, and you'll just need to take one step at a time, but you will figure it out. And just notice all of your problems are actually in the future or in the past, and that's when you're worrying about those things. So then you get to choose, and remember, it's hard. This is hard, this whole I get to choose business, because you are so programmed right now to choose the negative, to subscribe to the choker voice, to believe all those beliefs and stories that were made up long time ago. Sometimes when you were so little, and they were installed in you by people you loved and trusted, and you believe them. You believe that maybe I shouldn't be too big. Maybe I will fall and I will break and I should keep quiet. All of those things that start to embed over the years of how many years you've lived on this planet. Belief after belief after belief. So embedded not just in your conscious mind, but more so in your subconscious mind. It's a huge thing that you are trying to work against. I just want you to know that. So, but it's all about tiny steps. How can I start to create better beliefs right now? How can I change the story? How can I tell myself a different story so I can change it and I can reframe it? Because everything that I see here always has 2 or 3 sides to the story. So what story do I choose to see? Do I choose to live in toxicity and resentment and contempt and feel victimized to all of the things that are happening outside of me? Or do I come back and I go, you know what, I'm going to accept 100% responsibility for everything that is going on in my life. And it is hard, but I'll tell you what, as soon as you accept 100% responsibility, bam, you take back control of your life. You take back your power, and no one can take it away from you. No external circumstance, no person can do that to you ever again. And it's hard. It is hard. Trust me, I've been on this road for a long time. It's so easy to talk about it, but it's so hard to do. But what you have to do is start to create that patterning in your brain. As soon as something comes up, goes boom. Even in the stopping and the choosing to go, wow, do I choose to go down this road again and talk about and subscribe to all of this old negative patterning and triggers and erupt right now? Or do I pull back a little bit and I go, hey, actually, I'm going to choose a different way. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to clear my mind. I'm going to shake my body, let that energy go, and then come back and reframe it and cheerlead myself. And you can do that. It's just creating new habits over and over old habits, so that the old way of being and doing starts to become diluted. And now you have a new operating system. And with this new system, no matter what happens, you will find a way. You will choose to speak to the right people. You'll have more clarity about who to listen to. You'll start to trust in yourself so much more. Then externalize it. Okay, that's the biggest power that you can have right now. So I hope that you take back control of yourself. I hope that you pull back and you go, you know what? I choose me. I choose to trust me. And I will get that the more I start to cheerlead myself in my brain. not depend on other people to do so, right? The more you do this, the more you take back control, full stop. And it's not just COVID-19 that's the issue. Life happens. People you love will go in this lifetime. Bigger, dramatic things may happen and you don't know what's around the corner. COVID-19 has so many gifts if you just look at it and reframe it that way. Remember, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change, by Wayne Dyer. I love that so much. So listen here. If any of you are female dentists and doctors listening right now, we want to help you as well. We want to help you because we have a roadmap. This is what we do with our community for the last 3 years. We help female dentists and doctors, and we will bring out something to men soon, guys. So it's not just a prejudice thing. It's just the niche. We want to help you stop stress and make more of your life right now. And this is including more wealth, more abundance, more clarity, more energy. And this is in the roadmap of our courses and one-on-one coaching called Practice Your Passion. Now, we've heard so many of you reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling, Fern, I've lost my job, we don't have enough money. And so what we've done for the first time is we've amalgamated all of our online programs and courses and one-on-one coaches out there, and we've brought them and created a new package called the PYP Rise package. Now, if you want to know more about this package is actually 75% off our normal offerings, and it's a one-time only for this coronavirus business, so that we can help you, help yourself stop the stress and make more of your life right now. Okay, so if you are interested and you are hearing this, you can go to www.drfernwhite, F-E-R-N-White, WHITE.com/rise, R-I-S-E. And if you feel a calling to jump on and do this and have this program, which is this operating system that you can go by for life, you can see all the testimonials there, come join us on the other side. But if not, I'm just going to continue to give you guys as much free content as I can coming up live. Check out my Insta page, Dr. Fern White, or my Facebook page where I go live almost every day on topics, Dr. Fern White as well. Okay, but either way, you can do it. You are stronger than you think you are. Do not let yourself stand in your own way right now. And you always get a way to think. You always get to choose. If you need more help, you know where to find me. But otherwise, guys, let's keep doing this. Big love to you all.